Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Rafael Delgado.
What type of dealership did you visit?
I went to a used car lot.
Okay, last night or this morning?
This morning.
Okay, tell us about it.
All right, basically it lasted about 4 minutes of that. I pulled in my car. I got a pretty nice car, so I figured that would probably attract them to want to sell me something.
Sure.
I figured I got money, even though I don't.
Right?
So I pull in, and I walk up, and they're just sitting on the little table I guess they had set outside.
Right.
And it took me about maybe 2 or 3 minutes before I looked at 4 cars before he even looked over to notice I was there. So I actually walked up the stairs and I said, "Hey, you guys want to sell a car today?"
Wow.
So he just looked at me and said, "So what are you looking for?" I'm like, "A car." And basically that was it. And I said, "Well, I guess you're not interested. So you guys have a good day." And I got in my car and left.
Yeah, real world. I mean, because I mean, it's offensive at that point in time. I mean, because the first thing you do is sell yourself first. If you get out of a vehicle and you're dressed nice, you get out of a nice car. I mean, there's a number of different scenarios that could play out. It's either you don't like that car anymore, or it's someone else's car, or you're there for your wife, your girlfriend. Who knows? Who knows? We have to ask the questions before we know the answers. So you get out, you're ready to pull the trigger, you're ready to spend money, it's burning a hole in your pocket. You get out, you got some knuckleheads just standing around there, and you've got to approach the group because nobody sold themselves first. You could have been sold on the dealership. You could have been sold on the product. And you go in there, and yeah, why would you want to give someone your hard-earned money if they don't appreciate it, right? Because you're going to pay a few of their bills, right, based upon your business. So that's real world, and it happens. Do I have to ask you what you have done differently?
Just about everything.
Yeah. And a sales process would have unfolded because you would have sold yourself first.
Yes.
You would have made them feel welcome, asked if, got to know them a little bit more, sat them down, discovered their wants and needs, and took it from there. And that didn't unfold because you were frustrated and you left. Yes. And that's real world. Customers will get frustrated, they'll leave, and they'll just keep shopping until they run into a sales professionals who will take control of the process, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you think it was going to be that bad?
I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
But it was. I also went to another dealership. I went to a Mercedes dealership.
Okay, tell us about that.
And when I went in there, the guy basically met me as I was entering the door. He introduced himself. He
Good.
basically did everything pretty much perfect in my eyes.
Okay.
He even asked me if I needed something to drink, because
Great.
you know, I don't know, maybe that's just the way they do it. They had a little refrigerator full of drinks and juices, so they had multiple choices.
Sure, Mercedes, you should at least get a bottle of water or something, some Dom Perignon or something.
Yeah, so he basically introduced himself. The only thing he didn't do was give me a business card, but he didn't introduce himself. I introduced myself. He asked me what I was looking for. I said I already had a list of all the options that I wanted in the vehicle.
Okay.
So he goes, "Okay, well, let me take that and let me see if our inventory has anything that matches that or is close to that, and then we can go from there." So then he took me to his desk and wrote everything down, asked me about my payment options, what I wanted to do. He said if I can get you something similar to what this is looking for and it's just above what you were wanting to spend, would you be willing to do that? So I gave him a $30,000 price range, basically.
Okay.
And then he asked me if I had a trade-in, and I said, yeah, I have the car outside. And so he said, all right, well, can I get the keys to the car so that someone can look at it and give you an evaluation on your vehicle?
Okay.
And I was like, sure. I mean, I had a little bit of time. So
Sure.
he takes the car, he takes the keys, and then sends somebody else to evaluate the car. And while we're doing that, he's breaking down more of what it is that I want, basically.
Right.
And they didn't take too long with the evaluation. He came back in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
So he gave me an evaluation, said he would give me, $7,500 for the car. Did I have any payments? So on and so forth. And I said, yes, I did. And he told me I was in negative equity, basically.
Right.
The car was more than what I owe on it.
This is just about every customer that walks through the door is going to be in that situation. Okay.
Yeah, so basically said, I'm not interested in buying today, but I just wanted to know what my options were. I have to talk to the wife when I get back home.
Right.
And I said, well, just give me a call. He did take my information. I said, so just give me a call tomorrow or later on in the afternoon. And
well, let me ask you, did you arrive at a vehicle that seemed like it suited your needs, or did you just have a range?
He just had a couple of different cars. He said he had about 6 or 7 cars that would meet what I wanted if I was interested in seeing those cars.
But it seems like he shut down mentally once he figured out you had a deficit there. Mm-hmm. Instead of, here, if you're an educated customer and you already know you have a deficit, and you've already been on the internet, okay, and you've already done a KBB, and you already know what your payoff is, don't you think you might be prepared for that? Do you know how many customers come in knowing that they have negative equity, or someone else has already told them and they've already got a backup plan? Or maybe they're going to make up the difference, or who knows? Did he probe a little bit more to determine that?
No, not really.
Okay, so he attempted to do everything right, but how about just a few more questions? It's just like you're almost there, right? There's the objection. The objection is the deficit. Maybe he didn't present you any numbers because in his mind he's like, oh, well, he's too upside down, payment's gonna be too high, or he's making an awful lot of assumptions, is he not?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and that's a Mercedes dealership.
Yes.
I mean, you should get premier service at a Mercedes dealership, right? So he just let you go, just really he let you go with nothing to make a decision on. I mean, you didn't have a payment. Did he quote you a payment at all?
No.
Okay, and I mean, did he ask you about your credit?
No.
Did he ask you to fill out a credit application?
No, he didn't.
Did he ask you he did ask you what your current payment is?
Yes.
He did ask you what you'd be willing to spend monthly payment-wise? How much did you probe into that part?
Well, I just gave him the max I was willing to spend. He didn't get into how much monthly, because I already told him what I was paying.
Okay, so you just said $30,000. You didn't say anything about a payment.
Yeah.
Okay, and anything more than maybe you're willing to spend $50 more, because you know it's a Mercedes. You're going to spend more. I'm prepared to spend more. So none of that happened. Okay, so there's a lot of missing ingredients there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Maybe what would you have done differently?
I probably would have asked, all the stuff that we went through yesterday, if we can get you something close, or if we can turn
Right.
the negative equity into another vehicle and still maintain a payment that's close to what you're paying
Exactly.
now, would you be willing to make a deal?
And we haven't dove into the interview process, which is 3-phase, to get all those questions. But if you're going to do an interview, do a thorough, full interview and get all the answers. That customer should leave with something to make a decision on. They're not all going to buy that day, okay? But they're not all going to come back, especially if they don't have any information to come back on. Because then, I mean, why come back? I mean, how informed are you really? You probably won't be back. So do you now understand why I had you do the homework assignment?
Yeah, like I said, I went there in my car, because I have a BMW 740i, so it's comparable to what
That's a high-dollar car.
So I figured they
Yeah.
would be more wanting to do a deal, because it is a
Gotcha.
old vehicle, it's an 02, so
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's still a car. How many miles are on it?
120,000.
Okay. Still a market for that type of vehicle out there. So, okay, well, let's give them a round of applause.